Hi, I'm Tracy with KOGmissions.com and welcome. I just had a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you today. As I was walking back into my house this morning after doing chores, I live on a farm, I was thinking about the second resurrection and how wonderful that is and how kind and gracious God is. We know that the second resurrection says people are judged according to what they have done. And so for people who have never heard of Jesus, never even read a Bible before, there's hope for them. And I thought how wonderful that is. At the same time, those of us who have heard and have had that gospel seed of the kingdom planted or spoken to us, we have a responsibility. We can receive it or we can reject it. And we know that those who receive that seed and our soil is good and we allow it to grow and we walk in obedience to Jesus, that we have that hope of being resurrected when he returns and be given immortality at that time, to be changed. Right now we're mortal and we die. And when Jesus comes, those who are resurrected will be resurrected immortal. They will be given immortality at that time. And as we know, they will be reigning and governing the earth with Jesus, teaching the people who have made it through the Great Tribulation, but were not believers, for the first 1,000 years of the kingdom. And so after that first 1,000 years, we have the white throne judgment. And this is also known as the second resurrection because obviously there was the first one. So now there's a second one. That's why people refer to it as that. But we know that it's a resurrection for judgment. And these people are judged according to what they have done. So if somebody has never heard of Jesus or never read a Bible, how can they be judged? But we're told in Romans 1 that we can know God and see God from his creation. And when people act, even if people don't know who Jesus is or they don't know the Bible, there are good people and there are bad people. There are people who do kind things, that are generous, that help people. And then there are those that do evil. So those people who have lived a good life, and even though they don't know and never heard of who Jesus is or know that God is their father, they have that hope of living then from that point on into what we would call eternity or living forever. So once the kingdom starts, when Jesus returns, it's just going to continue on forever. Those first 1,000 years, that's what we know as the millennium, but it just continues on. There's not a separate kingdom at this white throne judgment. That's just the end of death. And so those who are not allowed into the eternal kingdom, they're destroyed in the lake of fire. They don't burn forever and ever. God is a just God. They will reap what they deserve, and he will not keep them alive just to torture them. That would not be a loving God. But those who never heard of him do have that opportunity. It says 2 books were open. The first book was according to what they've done. Jesus looks in that book and says, you did this, this, and that. Okay. He opens up the second book, which is the book of life. And he says, oh, your name is in the book of life. So you get to go into this eternal kingdom and never die again. And after that judgment, it says that death and the grave will be thrown in the fire, meaning they will not be around anymore. They will be done away with. There will be no more death. And so I was just thinking about that this morning. We have a great responsibility to share with people this hope, because ultimately the best thing is to be raised in the first resurrection. And so we want to share that with people, that hope, and encourage them to obey, live in obedience. But how wonderful it is to be able to share with somebody that maybe people in their family or their loved ones who have died and have never heard this gospel of the kingdom or who Jesus is, they still have hope. It isn't hopeless. And so I thought, what a great thing to be able to share with people about people from the past. Now, going forward, once you've heard this, you have a responsibility, and we should be trying to help people to hear this message. That's why we do evangelism and mission work. But we don't have to be concerned and sit and worry and think about people that have died that never heard. we can trust that God is righteous and his plan is righteous, and Jesus is the righteous judge. God gave him that authority to be that judge. And so we know that he will make the right decision on that day. We can know that if our loved one truly lived a life that was pleasing to God, even though they didn't know God, that they still have that hope of kingdom life in the future. So I just wanted to encourage you with that. That is not a reason to not tell people. That is not a reason to reject it, because if you are rejecting Jesus and you are rejecting walking in obedience, living in obedience, there is a chance that you won't be in the first resurrection, and you may be judged then according to your deeds, according to your beliefs, that you have rejected him, and your name may not be found in the book of life. So we need to live accordingly, but encourage people that those that may have gone before them that didn't know, there is still hope. And we just need to trust Jesus and know that he will make the right decision at that time. So have a blessed day. And remember that the second resurrection, there is hope for people in that resurrection.